Hello everyone, I'm Eunice Taira. Welcome to this feature. Let's talk about a topic that affects both journalists and the people they report about. Privacy versus public interest. In simple terms, how much should journalists reveal and when does it go too far? Let's begin with a real case in Kenya that shows just how serious this issue can be. The SMW versus the ZWM case, 2015. In this case, a woman sued her ex-husband for sharing private photos and information about her in the media and online. She said that it was a violation of her right to privacy, and the court agreed. The court ruled that even though the public might be curious, they don't have a right to know everything about someone's personal life. This case became a landmark because it showed privacy is a human right and the media must respect it, even in chasing a story. Well, let's be honest, we've all seen stories in newspapers or on social media that are a bit too personal. For example, a local newspaper once published a story about a woman who had just lost her child in a road accident, and that too without her permission. These are not just bad manners, they can be illegal and traumatizing. Now, speaking of the ethical dilemma, what should journalists do when they have private information that could interest the public? This is where the ethical dilemma comes in. Journalists must ask, is this story in the public interest or just interesting to the public? And will publishing this information help society or just embarrass someone? And have I given a person a chance to respond? Sometimes the media must report on private matters, like when a public official is involved in corruption or abuse. But even then, journalists must be careful not to expose unnecessary personal details. Speaking of the legal consequences, the Kenyan Constitution protects the right to privacy. If a journalist or media house publishes private information without a good reason, they can be sued, just like in the SMW versus the ZWM case. The court can order them to pay the damages, remove the content, or even issue an apology. That's why nowadays media houses have legal teams that review private information before they go public. Speaking of the balancing act, privacy versus the public's right to know, journalism is about telling the truth. The public have a right to know what affects them, like government decisions, public safety, corruption, but they don't need to know what happens in someone's private life, like medical history, family drama, and so on, unless it's truly relevant. The best journalists know how to balance these two rights. They protect people's dignity but also hold power to account. The SMW versus the ZWM case teaches us that privacy matters. As student journalists, we must learn to tell powerful stories without hurting people. And we must learn to ask tough questions but also show empathy.
Just because you took a photo with your friends or relatives or colleagues at work, it doesn't mean you should proceed and post it online without their permission. Every image that is captured of someone, as long as that person is identifiable, then that is personal data. And the Data Protection Act is very strict on protecting privacy.
Let's be the kind of journalists who inform, not invade, who expose the truth, but protect the innocent. Thank you for watching.